As the enigmatic Hitman, you must use stealth and tactical problem solving to enter, execute, and exit your assignment with minimal attention and maximum effectiveness. For a price, you have access to the most devious devices, but how you use them will determine if you retire as a millionaire or get permanently retired. Welcome to episode 65 of the 5 T's of Stealth, where we will be discussing Hitman Codename 47. Once again, the 5 T's include tasks, terrain, tools, threats, and tension. These are what I consider to be the fundamentals of stealth gaming. If you count the training or tutorial mission, then this game has 13 levels. However, I was truly having an awful time and dropped the game after completing mission The Li Hong Assassination. This is basically the end of an arc, which is why I decided to tough it out to this point before dropping. I actually quite enjoyed the story behind each mission, but actually completing each mission made me feel like I was back in the Slater, which I covered many episodes ago and hated. So let's talk the little bit of story that I have. Basically, you have to eliminate the head of an organization, but he's too difficult to confront right away, so you have to create some chaos to make the challenge approachable. This simply means eliminating other key members of the organization, as well as ruining the relationship with a separate organization. This spreads the security super thin, allowing you to go for the kill. So why did I dislike actually playing each mission? Well, the first mission takes about 5 minutes and all you do is go to a rooftop with a sniper, shoot a guy, then leave. The second mission involves planting a car bomb, which is kind of cool, but realistically all you do is kill the driver, steal his clothes, and walk up to the car with no resistance or threats. I'm not going to break down every mission, but basically all you do is find the required disguise, then go do a thing. This game is so brain dead easy in that regard, but then it can also be way overcomplicated. The final mission I completed, which again involved killing the leader of this group, took forever, and not in a good way. Find the disguise you need, then wander around until you figure out what the hell is going on. I was following a guide while playing, and I highly recommend you do the same since again, it can be so overly complex for no reason. Most of the levels were extremely small, so there's not a lot to say here. You don't really have a lot of options since you basically need to do a particular thing or go guns blazing. Some basic mechanics include opening and closing doors, climbing out of windows, and operating lifts or elevators. The final mission that I completed is a huge level, but that doesn't exactly make it more interesting. There's just more hallways to get lost in, and honestly, I felt a bit like I was back in Thief Gold, just running around like a headless chicken. You've got guns. There's a couple pistols, some automatic weapons, a sniper, and a shotgun. At the beginning of every mission, you will have a loadout screen where you can decide which weapons to bring and how much ammo, all of which costs money. At this time, you'll also be able to select fiber wire or a knife, which are your close quarters options or your stealth takedown tools. Neither of these feel particularly good to use, and lining up your kills can feel very finicky. There's a couple other items such as a compass, binoculars, or armor. Basic movement feels alright, with a sprint, crouch, lean, and auto mantle for climbing certain ledges. As I briefly mentioned, disguises are a big part of this game, and you are able to take the clothes off of a person you kill. In this game, there are dudes with guns, and that's pretty much it. These guys will have a few different reskins, but they all act the same. I only noticed this in the first mission, but if you cause a fuss, reinforcements will be called, and in this mission, that included a chopper. I can't say whether this is the norm or just for that level. Detection certainly is not great, and you can sometimes get away with ridiculous actions, but other times it feels like the whole place knows exactly where you are at all times. One thing I do really enjoy about these enemies is the corpse launches. These dudes go flying whenever you shoot them, and I can always appreciate that. Hitman Codename 47 somehow fluctuates between the two extremes of brain dead easy and way overly complex. I'm not sure how that happened, but I am not here for it. The complexity isn't in the actual gameplay, it's just figuring out where in the hell to go and what to do. Obviously, this is a very short review, and I'm absolutely speed running through it. This is simply because I did not like this game and I don't have much to say. I truly cannot believe how similar this game is to the Slater, and that just frustrates me so much. I know the Slater was Hitman inspired, but I never dreamed I'd be feeling the same way about both of these games. There's one last thing I want to mention. This game does have actual checkpoints, although I only noticed it in the longer mission, which is fair. However, if you screw up, then respawn at a checkpoint, sometimes everyone is still mad at you and will shoot you on sight. I could not believe it when it first happened, and it pissed me off to the point of no return. Hitman Codename 47 is not a good game, and I'm sure that will offend some, but I felt like I was simply playing a more complex version of the Slater, which in and of itself was just a disguise simulator. This game takes that disguise simulator core, then adds some overly specific scenarios that need to be followed, making it arguably a worse game. If you play this game, then I urge you to do so with a guide.